Welcome back to Grow Your Impact, Income, and Influence, the #1 show for monetization, storytelling, getting your message out there, reaching millions of people. Today, I am joined by Luke Guy. And besides having the coolest name in the world, he has been in the game since 2013, helping you use social proof to stand out and run ads. Luke, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Man, it's good to be on, my dude. Love the podcast title. Love what you're doing.
Awesome. If you guys can't see him, he is also wearing the coolest smoking jacket in the world, showing up like Hugh Hefner. It's like this maroon velvet. It's dope. It's something I would wear for sure. Luke, how are you doing today? I mean, tell us a little bit about, ads have come a long way since you got started in 2013.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. No, so good. Thank you for having me on, by the way, Steve. Once again, loving your quality of the video you got going over there. That is like smoking too. So good to be on. And it's been an absolutely long journey since 2013. Things have changed so much for the good in a lot of ways and bad in some ways. But either way, we've came out and it's been absolutely amazing. And I love this thing we call it entrepreneur life. So it's a lot to talk about there. But yeah, it's been a roller coaster like it's supposed to be.
Well, I mean, okay, so 2013, for those of you who weren't even born yet, 2013, like, so people had like CRT monitors, Facebook was like still kind of blowing up. People still had MySpace, I think MySpace, Facebook was probably like 2008, 2009. If you don't know what MySpace is, Google that. But so ads are starting to run on Facebook. And we were talking a little bit before the show. And like, the thing was back then you could say, hey, I can run ads for you. And people would just throw money at you, because it was this new market, right? So talk to us a little bit about what life was like back then and how you got started in this. Because I mean, there are so many people who have popped up in the last year or two that say they can run ads, but I'm a big student of history, and knowing where you came from and why people should pay attention to what you're saying is kind of important. So let's start back then.
I think there's 1,000 people who will sell you a course on how to run Facebook ads today. It's been absolutely bomb and saturated. But back in the day, 2013, Facebook came out with this objective called the conversion objective, where before, I don't know if you remember this, Steve, when you would run ads, it would send clicks, but it really wasn't optimized for like conversions and signups and all that. When Facebook came out this one day and said, hey, we've got this new objective, we will help you get more like signups and webinar. That's when webinars were like the thing, like the big thing. Like there's people getting rich running, simple traffic to a webinar. And I remember like seeing that people flooding over it. You had a few people saying, hey, we can help you with Facebook ads. And I was thinking, wow, this is actually kind of cool, because at the time I was working a day job, and I really wanted, and I was living in a mobile home at the time, just to be up front. Like it was just, I wanted a way to get out, because my dad was an entrepreneur. His dad was an entrepreneur. His dad was a farmer. So it was in my blood. It was bound to happen. And I was like, what's this coolest thing? Running ads, Facebook ads. So I was like, let's try it. So I tried it a couple of times. I hired a coach. Big moment there. He was a friend of mine, and he was like, well, I'll help you out. I think he was from Hawaii. I can't remember exactly where he was from, but I believe it was Hawaii. And he's like, all right, Luke, so write this copy out. And I said, who should I like run ads for? He said, well, start with chiropractors. I'll teach you how to do that. It's really easy. Facebook, like it's just like the hottest thing ever. And I was like, all right, sure, let's do it. And I remember, I think it was like $10 a day. Nothing big. I was like, man, we're going big time, $10 a day. This is crazy. And I hit the go button. The next day was the craziest thing, because we had this thing called smartphones back then too, right? Like so long ago. And my calendar was like, boom. I remember my first appointment that came out. I was like, I'm going to be rich. Like I just got this appointment. I was like, Dr. So-and-so wants to book a call with me. I was like, Coach, what do I do? He's like, well, talk to him. Tell me I can help him. Okay, I'll do it. And I remember I was doing, and by the way, I did pest control. That's got to be the most exciting jobs you could ever have. Like, oh, you're the bug man. Wow. I'm surprised I got married, man. So, but I was crawling crawl spaces in attics, talking to doctors about how I could run their ads. And what was amazing was, because I hired the coach, I mean, I paid him good money, and he actually taught me how to do it. And we actually was, because it was so easy, we was getting them results. So while I was booking out my calendar appointments for like $10, it was like insane. We got them results, and and there's doctors I'm still friends with to this day. Not quite a decade ago, but it's getting close, and we're still friends to this day because of, how much we helped them. So that's kind of how it started.
Well, it was kind of like the wild, wild west back then. I mean, that's about when I got started, and I paid somebody to run my ads in 2014 for an event that I was holding. And then I did the same thing. I was like, well, I can probably learn this. And I bought somebody's course. I don't remember whose course it was. It wasn't all that great, but it got me started. And then I was smart enough to like figure some of it out and move along with it. But it's the market now has become so saturated. Ads have become a lot harder to run. There are so many different objectives, so many different things you have to know, all the different rules. But for someone like yourself who has mastered it and grown up with it, talk to us a little bit about like, what are the things that you see that lead to success when running ads nowadays? Because the landscape's changed a lot. You can't just spend $10. You're spending $10 a day right now. You're probably getting like one opt-in and you're like, whoo, I got opt-in. You're not booking calendar appointments. You're not filling up a webinar. But talk to me about what's changed and what you think people really need right now to help them run ads.
Yeah, and today getting appointments for that is very rare. However, I did sign up a client, and he's in like a special niche, and he's getting appointments for $10. Now that's in my world. If you get an appointment for 100, 150, you're doing amazing, right? So I'm actually kind of jealous. But he's in a smaller niche. So and that just happened. Like I saw it with him today. It's kind of working out, but that's not usual. Like that reminds me. So in what's happening is the world. It's kind of like this. It was kind of like when you see a billboard going down the highway. You pass it, you notice it, you read it. Wow, cool message, whatever. You pass it again. I remember that sign. You pass it again and again and again and again, and before you know it, that sign does not even exist. That's called being fatigued. Well, that's what we're facing today. Mm-hmm. Because when everyone says, "I'm going to help you blow up your business Facebook ads," people are like. And they try Facebook ads, are like, oh, Facebook ads ain't that great, right? People feel like it's this old thing, right? Like MySpace was. You can still get great results with Facebook, but cost is going up. In the good old days, you could get a click for 50 cents to $1. Now, if you're getting clicks from $2 to $2.50, you are like, you're doing something. Either you're selling crack, or you're doing something very illegal, or you're just dialed in. Right. And if your click rates are like 2%, 3%, 4%, you're really dialed in. But you can scale a 6-figure, 7-figure business on a 1% click rate. So pretty much what you stand on ads today, it's just don't be boring. I like to be funny. And Steve, I need to tag you in one of my videos. I don't think you've ever seen them before. I need to tag you so you got a feel of it. I'm not saying be absolute stupid, but sometimes we are in the ads. Like so being funny really helps. Trying to be funny, being creative, telling a story. People don't like this, la 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 la, and they want a conversation going back.
Yep.
They want a story being told, or they want something absolutely ridiculous. Geico got it right a long time ago, right? And they was like 10 years ahead of the game.
Yeah,
that's what's got to do.
I mean, I'm interested to see where ads are going to go next, just because I agree with you. Like Geico, Geico, what's the other? Progressive Insurance did all right. Anything that was, you remember the Old Spice ads with like the dude that was like on the unicorn and like, grabs people's attention. It's slightly funny, but like you can't stop watching it. And that's what entertainment, when it comes to ads or selling anything, entertainment and telling stories is what leads the field. I'm just interested to see what's going to happen 10 years from now, because you look 10 years in the past, everyone was trying to do informative ads. They've started to catch on that it's more story based. It's more about being funny, but now that stuff is starting to get fatigued.
Yeah. And it's just like, well, it's like the TV world. It's like what happened to TV will happen on the internet. How long they've been running TV ads, right? I think it's been at least 50 years, 60 years. Even longer than that. We've been running commercials on TV.
Do you know what the first ad ever on TV was?
Was this? I've heard this. I should know this. I don't know if it was about clocks. I can't remember.
It was about a watch. It was about.
Yeah, I knew it. Okay.
Bulova watches, and they ran I think it was 10 seconds or 13 seconds, and
Yeah.
they'd never done it, and nobody knew what, like, they were like,
what is
that?"
happening right now?
Yeah, like nobody got it. But then within a year, they had sprung up, but they were only in between shows. They weren't in the middle of shows. And then they started adding them in the middle because you got to think back then, it's so crazy, right? Like, we have a television studio, we're producing TV, but we don't know how to sell anything. Like, we're just making it, and people are going to watch it. And everyone's like, "Ooh, I got a TV. I know I'm just watching something," but like nobody was making any money. It's crazy how that goes. Anyway, that's a rabbit hole. I want to hear more about, because you specifically focus on social proof, which I think is huge, because this is, besides telling stories, besides being entertaining, social proof is the biggest way to get people in. I use social proof as I tell client stories all the time. I do client case studies. I do client testimonials. I ask them what their pain points are. I interview them. Like, I do whatever I can with it. But talk to me a little bit about how you use social proof in ads, because I think that's a really unique thing that not very many people do.
Oh, they don't. And you're so with what we like to do, and I don't know, I don't have a specific formula to this, but what I like to do is first get them to like me. That's the first thing out of the bat, get them to like me. All right. And there's two ways we go about it. Once I create my crazy, funny ad, because my market is like this, man. It's like they jump out of a helicopter, they jump in a Lamborghini, look at me. Their suits like way nicer than mine, probably Italian, $2,000 suit, walking to their mansion. You want to be like me? We're going to blow this up for you. They got glasses on. They're just so serious. And here I come, my crazy self. I'm like the complete opposite of that. So that's why, and I've seen those click rates on those ads is nowhere near what ours are. But they're making money still. However, biggest thing is being different. So first of all, I try to get them to like me. And it's probably hard to do, but I do everything I can to get them to like me on that ad. And once they click it, that's the whole point. Like, hey, do you want help with this? Like, I'll talk about PR, social proof, right? And I'll do something funny. I actually did an ad on, what's someone talk about? I did an ad about sales calls, and I was making fun of how the customer can be. Like, if you get a hold of someone who just finds out this, like, they're on the sales call and they don't know this thing costs money, and the guy's like, what? Like, it's a dialogue between two people, and I really focus on a pain that people have, but I make fun of. And it was the most. I made that ad in like an hour, and my lead cost dropped down from like $25 down to $8. That's how much. That's how much people wanted funny. But the thing is, I took that traffic and I ran it to a group. And you can either run it to a group or you can run it to a webinar, and that's where I show off my social proof. I'll take that traffic, run it to a webinar, and they watch something, book a call with us, or I take that traffic and turn it to a group. I'm seeing it to where people want to be pointed to a group. When I mentioned go inside a Facebook group, it's just the opt-in rates are almost double better than when you run it to a webinar. So it seems to me that people do not want to sit around for 2 hours or an hour watching anything.
So I have a couple questions around that. First off, I build webinars. I build stage presentations up until COVID. I ran my own live events. I ran live events for customers. Anyone who listens to this channel knows that. But then when COVID hit, I had to pivot. I didn't go to virtual events. I went to helping people with webinars. But the thing that I have done is, one, shorten the webinar, two, make them incredibly funny and fun to listen to, because that is way more important. It's all about the know, like, trust factor. If people know, like, and trust you, they'll buy, even if they don't understand 90% of what you do, which, instead of trying to teach them everything, which causes them to fall asleep and like keel over, or just leave and go to Facebook. If you're funny and entertaining and like tell jokes and get them to do stuff in their chairs, they're like, wow, I've been stuck in my house with COVID forever, and this guy's actually entertaining me. This is better than YouTube. Cool, I'll watch it. But anyway, how do you drive them to a Facebook group? What are you doing? Are you doing a lead magnet? Are you just putting, hey, join my Facebook group? Are you saying, hey, the lead magnet is in the Facebook group? How are you doing that?
I'm just sending them to like an option, like they give us info. like name, number, and email, all of it. And then they get sent to a thank you page. It's like a 5-second load page. And then it technically you can't send traffic to Facebook, any Facebook assets or properties of Facebook. So I send them to a landing page, right? And then the page loads for 5 seconds, and then it directs them, because I think Facebook can read pages even after pages. Like they're way too smart. Way too smart. I'm waiting for them to actually be able to watch videos. I'm waiting for robots to watch videos. I'm waiting.
They do. They definitely do. They're transcribing them and then reading the transcription. And
That's true. That's true. People are getting away with things that they can say in video compared to text. If it's text and they don't like it, they will murder you. Absolutely kill you.
Yeah, no joke. So let's go back to, because that is interesting. We used to always send people to I haven't done ads for clients since 2017, but we used to always, the thank you page was always a short video with a call to action to join the Facebook group and get value. But I know Facebook kind of doesn't like that so much. So yeah, it's interesting. So you do a 5-second load page that gets them to like spin a little bit, and then it's like, oh, here, join the group.
Exactly. Yeah. And we do that because when you ask for a phone number, more than likely that's not a real number. In fact, I may be going to an ex-wife or something just to aggravate her. I don't know. Or you're not going to, it's not real. Most of the time it's not going to be real, because I got software. It's like bounce, 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 bounce. Like, oh, of course. So but the thing is, you can't fake a group request like it's actually you. Yeah. So there's no hiding. If you want the good stuff, you got to go inside of a group. And no, I did not invent this methodology. I saw this somewhere else. It's kind of like where it used to be webinars. Now it's going to groups, because people don't want a webinar at one time. You have to break it up inside the group. And that's where our social proof idea came in. And that's why, because a lot of people, maybe even listen to this right here, that's one of the things they struggle with, because if you have like a tons of social proof, and not just talking head saying, oh, he did me a great job, makes me lots of money, or I can lose weight, blah, blah, but it's actual other things. Like they don't want just a talking head, because they're thinking, how do I know you didn't pay your neighbor to make that video? Like, how do I know that this was actually real? So that's why we do things that you cannot fake. And so it's about serving different angles. And that's why we serve that in our group. And it's just like, because Facebook wants excitement.
Yep.
Like when they open up the app, it's like, yay, this happened. Whoa. That's why you want to get a lot of engagement, have a baby. I mean, you may get like, it's like, oh, baby. Oh, it's like, why babies? Why is that a big thing? But it's a big thing. Or just something exciting makes them want to like it, love it, share it. All this is amazing. And that's why when you create content around this, and if you create content around your wins and around your clients' wins, or you got featured here, and that's a big thing. That's what I like.
For sure. That's, that is awesome. What are you doing inside of your group then? So like you take the social proof, talk to us about social proof, because I think a lot of people out there are just like, cool, I have this testimonial where somebody says I did a great job. And it's like, that's not really social proof. I know you just touched on this a little bit, but talk to me about what do you do for your clients? What's your client journey look like? People are listening and they're like, okay, my Facebook ad cost is now up to like $6, $7. How do I drop that down? How do I get appointments? Talk to me a little bit about what you do to use social proof to actually build people up and like get them going.
Oh man, I love that. That's my favorite thing to talk about. So what we do, for example, what we'll do is we'll go at it and just figure, okay, where you're at, what kind of social proof do you have already? Like we want to bring that excitement, that feeling to people who are viewing you. And people love watching other people win, including themselves, right? And making them feel like, well, people can still win again. So all types of social proof that you can do. I like to, like, for example, being featured in places, right? Getting featured in like, I don't know if you ever heard of like Pat Flynn. Like he's got a huge podcast over there. I've actually been featured in some of his stuff. You got Michael Stelzner at Social Media Examiner. If you're not in marketing, then a lot of people listening may not know these people, but these guys in my field is actually a big deal. So when I got a video of Mike Stelzner talking about me, he has the largest social media conference. That's the social proof right there. But as for my clients, well, Luke, maybe I can't get that. You're a Luke guy, I hear that. So okay. You heard my story. I was in crawl space in 2013. So I mean, you all start somewhere. So the fact is like social pieces, getting featured, and this is where we help, getting you in headlines, getting press releases, getting videos of customers. That's cool too. That works, but don't rely on just one thing. Just because you have that doesn't have everything. That's one thing. Jumping on podcasts. People like Steve, who has amazing backgrounds and just really good at this. Like I can tell you, you've done a lot of episodes just the way you're doing it. So being with you is social proof because you don't take just anybody. Like just anything like this to where you can say, hey guys, look, and I'll do this with you, Steve. I'll be like, I was on a podcast with Steve Warner. Woo. And people are like, that's so cool because he's getting interviewed. So it's just little things like that anybody can do. I'm not a magician at this, right? Anybody can do this, but they don't think creative like that. Like, how do because I look at people's profiles and it's like their dog, cupcake, their kid can walk. That's great. But this doesn't make me want to buy from you. Like, I want to buy from you, but you got to give me a reason. And that's why people listen right now. I say there's probably 10 people right now who are connecting with you on Facebook right now who would buy from you, give you thousands of dollars. And a lot of you guys have experience. Like Steve, you have your gift, right? And you know a lot about this as well. But there's a lot of people listening right now who may not know. There are buyers watching right now. I've been watching for a very long time. If you just release some social pieces, anytime my Facebook grows, let's say, for example, let's say we got 50, 100 people that just came into the group. I'll say, hey guys, we're growing. Take a screenshot of that number. Like little things like that. It's not like having this one big social proof. Like I got this thing. Now, if I did an interview with Elon Musk, I mean, I'm the stuff. Like just one of those, I'm good, right? That's all I need. But until then, doing the little social proof is actually fun, by the way. Like you're looking for clues.
Well, I think it goes back to like you were talking about the road sign earlier, right? So that road sign that you drive by every day, what Facebook is, people are scrolling their feed, and instead of a static sign that is there that they're seeing the same sign every day, they're seeing your dog, they're seeing what you made for dinner, they're seeing where you went. Instead, if you start throwing in some social proof and you're like, hey, I was on this interview over here. Hey, I was interviewed in Forbes. Hey, I was in the newspaper. Hey, I did this thing. And that's mixed in. They're like, oh, they got a dog. Oh, he's being interviewed again. Oh, hey, Elon Musk mentioned him. Oh, hey, like it doesn't like before, like subconsciously, they come to see you as, hey, that person's doing something. What are they doing? I want to check them out a little bit. When I first released the podcast, so I had a podcast 3 years ago that I did it for 14 months. And at 14 months, I was getting, it's pathetic. I was getting about 30 downloads an episode. And I was like, but I did it, right? I was like, I was going to commit to it for a year. I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to commit to it for a year. But it just wasn't really going anywhere. When I launched this one we launched in August of last year. I did 28 days straight, and I did 3 interviews a day for 2 months. I did interview after interview after interview after interview. But I started tagging everybody, and very quickly what happened was people just noticed. They were like, oh man, you're interviewing people, you're doing stuff. I mean, we went to over 100 downloads per episode within that first month, just because I was all over social media. Plus I enjoyed doing it. It was super, super fun.
But that's key. When you love what you do, that changes everything. You learn to plow at it. And obviously you can tell you really love what you do. So that's what's going to get you through the hard times, is when you actually love it. That helps a ton.
I mean, who doesn't like meeting people and like you build relationships with them? I mean, the podcast for me is a way to get to know people in the industry. I miss live events. I used to do 2 to 3 live events a month, and COVID hit and I was like, can't do any of that. What's going to happen? So anyway, I want to go back to the social proof. Like because I think a lot of people get confused. They're like, well, social proof means I need to like get their permission and I have to have them write this big thing. What are some like very simple things that people can do? Maybe they don't have any social proof. What are some things they can do to get that I think a lot of people are even scared to ask for social proof as far as like a testimonial?
Well, one thing you can do, one thing that there's so many ways of doing it. And I think it's like, it's one of those things that people have not tapped into yet, which is I'm very excited about because I love new opportunities. But people are not taking advantage of social proof that is around their feet. And look, as time goes on, your social proof gets better, right? Even if you have to do a free thing once and now and again, like I would honestly go do something free for Elon Musk or any billionaire out there. Just say, I just did an interview with a billionaire, right? That's headline headline worthy, right? For example, I've actually thought about this. It would be a dream to interview someone like Elon Musk, right? Like he's just like number 2 guy wealthy in the world, right? But obviously you're not going to get him your first shot or even your 100th shot, right? But if you started at the bottom of the list and work your way up, maybe one day, because he has done interviews, right? He has done interviews with people, not many, but you start at the bottom, work your way up to the top, and eventually it may happen. And just like social proof, you start at the bottom. Like, what are wins around me right now that I can talk about? That's exciting because it's just something that most people are not even doing anyway. Like, for example, like I was saying about that guy earlier, you had mentioned like $10 appointment days are over. And obviously we're just ramping up his campaign. So those costs will go up, but it looks good on paper, right? Like, hey, my guy is getting $10 appointments right now. And like people, that's how Facebook is. In fact, that's what Facebook was built around, was excitement, was events like Yahoo moment, like, yay, hit the like button. Like, that's how it was built. Like, that's the kind of, if you're boring, look at my cupcake, look at my.
Look at my cupcake. It's sad.
But it's everywhere. Look, I just had a Pop-Tart, or look, I'm going to the mall. Well, that's great. But I saw 100 posts just like that. That's not exciting. But my client's getting $10 appointments. And all my friends are business owners like, are you kidding me? I'm getting $100 appointments. How are you doing that? Like, that's kind of like, boom. And Facebook will push that out, right? So starting small, work your way up.
So what do you think of quote cards?
Like for example, like an inspiration.
Yeah. Like the crap that, well, I'm giving away what I think of them, but like you pay some social media manager and they make you 8 million quote cards that have like your face, a quote, and like you just post one every hour on the hour.
I mean, to me, it's overrated. To me personally, I know we see it, but to me, it's like look, okay, it's depending what your goals are. My goal as an entrepreneur is I want to book callers for my profile. I want to go. That's just, I sell something high ticket. Like, we help people get social proof with PR, and that's how you're gonna make your ads work, right? If you don't have any social proof and ads, you're about to get destroyed, like destroyed. So that's why you need to start on free stuff. So quote cards is not going to help me. Like, man, did you see Luke? He just like created this most beautiful quote card. I think I'm going to hire him. It's not going to work out for me, right? It's just not but if it's like Luke keeps pumping out these results for people. Here's another one. I made a 100K award for a client of mine. He made a 100K with a system. So I made him an award. And those, like, they love that. Like, he just won the Oscars with Luke Guy, right? And it's just kind of like, that's something they really love. So that's something I'll do. Like, watch out. If you win with me, I'm sending you an award in the mail, right? I'm going to pay for it. But the thing is, you got to take a picture with it. So that's social proof in itself. Hey, guys, I'm making this award for somebody. Woo! I'm about to ship it out. That's another post. I ship it out. He's taking a picture with it. Woo, it's another piece of content. We're going to make a video together. He's talking about how he did this thing. That's another piece of content. I just created 4 or 5 pieces of content on one award. So it's 5 pieces, and someone may buy because of one of those.
Yep.
If not all of those. That's just an example. But quote cards, overrated.
I second that quite a bit. All right.
You like that? Okay.
What would you tell somebody who says, I can't do that because it feels like bragging? Because I know there are a lot of people, like I have some of my listeners, some of my friends, some of the people that I work with are in the quote heart-centered community, right? They're like, because I teach story selling, which that definitely, instead of using a hard sell technique, tell stories. You get people to lean in, say, how can I do that? You have an easy conversation. I've talked to them about even just putting up like a post that says, I got X result for somebody. And they're like, you can tell like they get a little anxious about it. So how would you deal with a client that says like, I don't want to brag. I don't want to come across as that.
Oh man. Well, if I get it, like you want to be humble, Joe, nothing wrong being humble. I think humbleness is a big key and characteristic. But you got to think about it though. We are called to inspire, right? Like that as entrepreneurs, we are called to inspire people. So I don't think it's a bad thought you're having there. Not you, but like someone who's thinking like that. But you have to look at, okay, what is this going to do for me? This is going to inspire someone. We're not living in 1950s anymore. Seeing is believing.
Yeah.
Okay. And the fact is that people are very skeptical of you. you got to give them reason to believe. Your quote cards are not going to do that because everybody's doing that. But if you want to help more people, think of it this way. Is it worth getting over that mental thought to help more people get the results? These people would not have signed up. Like, no one signs up without some kind of proof. Amazon became $1 billion company because of their review system and all the other crazy things they put out there. This is absolutely great, right? But the big thing is that's one way they crushed Walmart online was the review system. People trust that thing. And you have to be your own review center. Like, you have to show off and market. We are marketers. If you are not a marketer in your business, you are going to get destroyed. And the biggest thing you can market is people's results. If you're like me, if you sell something, definitely high ticket, which I highly recommend, something premium, something that's amazing, right? The only way they're going to buy from you is if you have proof that you can actually do it. Because the internet just came out. I mean, I know it's been just 20 years ago, but people are skeptical. The only way to do that is with social proof. And you got to shout it from the housetops. Not that you're amazing, but your clients are amazing.
Well, I think that's the thing. Like, putting your clients out front makes everybody, this is what I tell people. If you're talking about your clients, nobody sees it as you're bragging. They see it as like, holy crap, you changed somebody's life. You made them money. You made their business. How do I get some of that? And that is the difference between humble bragging and actually like put stuff out there. If you're helping people, do it. And I love that you called out, like, do it for free. If you're sitting there and you're listening to this and you're like, I don't know, I don't have any of that, go help one person and tell them. Like, find somebody who has interacted with you somewhere and be like, look, I don't normally do things for free, but I will help you in return for a testimonial. You have to swear to me you're going to do everything I say for the next week or two to get the result. Or host a free challenge, or host a free workshop. A free workshop, if you get 100 people that say they're going to come, you're going to get 15 in the room. You will get some testimonials. Like, if you hold a free workshop and you get 10 people, probably not going to work out real well. But that I would.
Whatever you got to do, work free, whatever you got to do to talk about amazing stuff every single day. You got to be talking at least not once a week, but I'm trying not once a day. I'm trying 5 times a day.
Yeah. That actually brings me to the next question. How often, because you're doing paid ads, how often do you think, like, so we won't even talk about organic. What if somebody's like, okay, I'm going to start running some ads, what's a good budget? What do you think they need to be running a day?
So, I mean, a good start, like, I would start off with the cost of what is one opt-in. I mean, because look, I mean, you're about to get destroyed if you don't have a plan in place with Facebook. I mean, with all the competition you have. So I would start off with the price of an opt-in. So starting at $10, $15, a good start. Unless you're just like loaded, like you've got like $500,000 in the bank and you got to get a tax write-off anyway. So then you're doing yourself a favor, go crazy. But start off $15, $20 an hour, start small, work your way up, because even at that small amount, you're able to examine data. Like, I can split test 2 ads or 3 ads if I wanted to, and just see, okay, which one is getting the better click rates, which one's getting the best viewage. So I would start it there. I would not go like, I mean, I have started $100 a day just because I thought I had something amazing. But when I'm not being stupid, I will start off $15, $20 an hour, and $15, $20 a day, and I will test the click rates and all that, and then double it like that.
What and do you always go? Do you go with a video ad? Do you go with a picture ad? What do you?
Video ads today is going to destroy picture ads. My video ad will destroy your picture ad all day long, because we have to do things that our competitors are not willing to do if you want to get the results we're not getting. Period. Anything. Anyway, so I do videos all the way. And as time goes on, those videos are getting more and more like exciting, storytelling, funny. I'm going to have something blow up. Steve, I got to tag you in one, man, just to hear your feedback. Like,
Yeah.
And I'm playing 2 of me. Like, I'm Luke guy, and then I have my client, which is me as well. So I got to do split screens or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to be a comedian since I was a kid anyway, even though my wife says I'm not funny. If I can make my wife laugh, I'm doing something. Like, this is gonna be a good one if I can make her laugh. So I'll test it. But did I answer the question? Did I answer that question?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to figure out, because I like video ads too.
That's right. So picture a video ad. Okay, yeah. Video ads.
Yeah. Well, all right, Luke. So if people are interested in contacting you, why don't you tell us, one, what you do, and two, tell them how they can get to your Facebook group, because I think now everybody wants to go see some of your ads. So where can they go? Where can they see some of your videos?
So you can go to theluca.com. Okay, go to theluca.com. That ad I was telling you about, where you like give us info, send it to the group. That is the actual link, is theluca.com. And when you go there, it'll send you to the group. The group is called Sold Before the Call, because I believe it's a crime to try to sell people on the phone. I think people should be sold already, and you're just literally taking the order, or you're going to be gray head before you're 30. So I would not recommend that. So I like selling people for it, and that's why social proof is important. That's why PR is important. But the Look.com is where you can go to get inside a group and see those ads when we come out with them. And just so you know, like, social proof is the big thing that I focus on. Paid ad has been the vehicle, how we deliver that since 2013. However, we are going strong organic as well, because I want a 4X, if not a 5X on my return. I've spent multiple six figures on ads personally, not include my clients, and that's kind of ROI I'm looking for. But I want to go bigger, and that's why we're actually going stronger with organic. That's why I've actually hired a coach to actually help me. I've done organic for a while, but I'm always hiring people to help me. Like, I never feel like I'm at the place I can't hire nobody. Like, I hire people all the time. So that's why I'm actually combining paid ads with organic. So, for example, what I'll do is they'll go to my group, and if I can, I'll add them as a friend.
Mm-hmm.
They can see my content, and then that's where I really dish social proof between my group and my profile and any of my ad sets. I'm constantly like dishing exciting things like that so they can see and believe. But that's how you get there. And for people like, Luke, what do you do exactly? The big thing is I want to make your people believe. Like, honestly, I'd like to start with your organic traffic around your feed. We can try paid ads if someone wanted to work with us, and we can start off $15 a day. But I know what it's like to spend a ton of money and feel like you're sweating bullets. I've been there. It's not a good feeling. I don't want you to go through that. So what I like to do, Steve, is let's try your organics. Let's look at all the things you've done, and let's turn it into content and get people excited about what you're doing, and turn it into you want to make people believe what you're doing, like the fastest.
Mm-hmm.
Fastest. Let's do this by pumping out social proof about what you're doing, because that, to me, in my personal opinion, Steve, that converts people over faster than anything else. Stories are amazing. That's how they get them to like you. But what's going to get them to trust you is the fact your clients trust you, and you're able to pump that. Because you said it. You said exactly right. They have to know, like, trust you. In fact, I think we should get them to know and love and trust you. Like, if you get your customers to love you before we get on the call, that's going to be the easiest sales call. It won't even feel like a sales call.
Right. They're just ready to buy. They're like, hey, where do I sign up? What do I do? Okay, cool. Let's go.
How much is it? Oh, it's great. I'll be here right now. Like, that's because you've been dishing out social proof. So that's what I help you do. If you don't have social proof, let's go help you create it. Well, look, I ain't got clients. Let's go get you some PR. That's social proof. Let's go beef up your reviews. Let's go get you some headlines. Let's go get you some news. Let's get you on some podcasts with people like Steve, who are like amazing at podcasting. Who've got that voice, man. Like, that means a lot. So let me help you be creative and create your content, not just everyday content, but content that is powerful and move the needle and get them closer to booking a call with you. That's why people hire me. People know me for paid media, but you can do the same thing, because literally I'm taking paid media and run to a group, then which is organic, because Facebook ads, it's like an organic game there. So it's mixing the two together, but it all falls apart if you don't have social proof. I can help anybody with social proof, anybody.
Awesome. All right. Well, you guys know where to go find Luke. Go watch some of his videos. I'm going to go check them out because I want to laugh. I want to see how funny it is.
It's coming.
Awesome. Luke, thank you so much for joining me. This was super fun and enlightening. Anything to say before we part?
Oh, for anyone who went through 2020, which I think is pretty much everyone listening right now, you're gonna be okay. Keep pushing. Like, a lot of people are dealing with the stuff in their mind. Like, I don't think I'll ever win again, which a lot of people's going through. You're gonna win again. Keep pushing. Keep listening. Podcast is what helps me. That's why I'm on podcasts. People like Steve. Like, guys like this will motivate you to keep going. So go leave him a review. Go subscribe to him. Do things like that. Like, listening to podcasts for people like this, you're going to get through this, but you got to get through that mental noise up here you're dealing with. So That helps. Just a personal tip.
Awesome. I love it. To everybody else out there, make sure you go check them out. Everything will be in the show notes. Until next time, take action, change lives, and make money. We'll see you soon.